Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to ChaiNet, the Agentic Commerce podcast, where we learn how brands are building in an AI world. I'm Rachit Magan, your host. And we know that India has always known how to care for its babies, right? Generations of love, rituals, and trust. But the world is changing. Cities are hotter, the water is harder, the pollution is real. Indian parents today are beginning to ask a new question. Is there a skincare brand built specifically for our babies, considering all of this, what is happening in an ever evolving world? Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. But is there a brand? They're looking for a brand for Indian skin, for Indian summers, for Indian conditions. Today's guest decided to answer that question. He spent 15 years in precision packaging, in understanding the quality from inside out. And his wife, Dr. Sonali Kohli, is a practicing dermatologist who studies what Indian baby skin exactly needs. They've co founded Eda Baby and Child together. That's a brand built for India, for Indian parents, for Indian babies. So let's welcome Rohan Rai to the stage. Hi, Rohan. A very warm welcome to China.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for the warm welcome and the warm introduction.
It's my pleasure that you're here today. So, Rohan, let's start with a bit of your story, like how maybe you can start with an introduction.
So, I'm Rohan and I run a packaging business and a D2C business. I run the packaging business with my father and I run the D2C business with my wife. One of the very few privileged men, I believe, who have the opportunity to run businesses with their family and with the father and with the wife. So
Right.
it's a tough business. It's a tough relationship, and you know how it is. So I believe I've been very lucky and fortunate that I get to see the best of both sides with the most near and dear ones. And yeah, I mean, 15 years into packaging, and I believe 1 year of running operations in D2C and 3 years of building it, ideation plus bringing it to life. So fairly a decent experience in operations overall in manufacturing. New in D2, new in the world of D2C, I would rather say, in a
Right.
fast-paced business, where you need to keep evolving every day, rather, in the scenario. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, I'm currently a father to two children, two lovely boys,
Wow.
and that's about it.
Amazing. Amazing. And how do you manage between the packaging business and Eda Baby and Child?
So packaging business fairly has been, it's a family business run by me and my father. It's a 20-year-old business. And to be very honest, with systems and, with operational, I think, guidance and excellence in over a period of time, we have somehow managed to bring it to a stage where it's an auto-run business. But at the same time, of course, there is a lot of involvement from the operating partners, me
Of
and my
course.
father. At the same time, it does give me a lot of leverage in terms of growing the D2C brand wherein we operate out of the same space. Both my teams sit in the same office. So
Right.
it gives me that much ease and comfort of operating out of the same place and having to look at both the businesses at the same time. Of course, it's very challenging, tough. It can be overwhelming sometimes when you are operating and looking at two different businesses because,
Right.
it takes a lot out of you and D2C, consumes a lot. However, how much ever it is glamorized and glorified today that, there is pressure to perform or D2C founders certainly behave and look great everywhere. I think it's a very lonely journey for most D2C founders and which nobody talks about.
Mm.
And it's all glamorized in sense of we get to see the top 10 companies of the world or the country and nobody talks about the rest 100 or 100,000 companies which
Right.
come which go or where founders are building quietly in stealth mode. We are only seeing stories about funding and those things, and I think somewhere founders do get lost in the process. I
Right.
mean, for me it is not about just founding a brand, but it's also about you know, uh, being a part of the ecosystem of a business ecosystem. So this Eda Baby is not the only business that I've been a part of. I've been a part of a couple of other businesses. I've also been a angel investor. I've also invested as an angel in a couple of startups. So I've had the opportunity of seeing certain businesses very closely. In firstly, of course, our own manufacturing business, which we have
Right.
restructured in the last 15 years. And when I joined, and we expanded the business and also started two, three new verticals in the business and
Right.
expanded the manufacturing operations. Having said that, I have had the opportunity to work with the two, three startups very closely where I was involved in the restructuring of the business. And now, of course, with Eda, I think, it's our own new baby. And I've had the opportunity, and I believe I'm very grateful that I've had the strength to build something from scratch. And we are ready to present it to the world. And we've already started our operations. And I believe that itself, is a great challenging part today, because it's not easy for any startup founder to, I believe, to start operating and build your product in a way which, when you are working with many vendors or when you're working on many different formulations, there
Right.
is two aspects to this. You have an option where you just go to somebody and say what is ready and give it to me, and you package it and sell. But that's not the route I believe one should take today, because people are consume products which they seek very eagerly, and at the same time the consumers are very aware of what they want to buy,
Right.
especially in the field of in the business of child care or
Of
baby care.
course. Of course. They make sure
Consumers are
I
very aware of what they're buying. So this model where, I believe you can just go to any manufacturer and say, let just make this XYZ, copy paste. I think that doesn't work. And that's why we took 2 to 3 years to launch our product, because, we had a lot of iterations, and we
right.
had, clinical studies happening over a period of 3, 4 months. Each, the whole process takes around 6 to 7 months. Stability takes you almost, 2 years. So we have done all of that. So of course, this whole journey from start to now, when we are operating, it has taken us almost 2022 to 2025 is when we launched. And 2026 is again when we have restructured and pivoted in the last 1 year 4 to 5 times. I think that's the
Wow.
journey of every founder.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. I think nobody teaches you that. Nobody understands that. And it's all on the go. But yes, it's been a lovely last 3, 4 years building this company, and where we have
So how
reached and
did
where
it
we plan
start
to
and
go.
how did like where did you have to pivot? Like what was that journey like?
So I think we started with launching our brand as a with a lot of different elements.
Mm-hmm.
And over a period of time, because of our road shows that we were doing in Hyderabad to Bombay, Pune, Ahmedabad, we did a lot of road shows in.
What is uh, I have a 14-month-old daughter, right? 15-month-old now. So I've gone through what you're exactly saying. During, like, for example, of course, there's there is always a massage oil and always a japa, or someone in the family who, as you rightly said, that someone does the massages. uh, what do you think is the right way for a baby massage? Is it something which is, it's a very Indian thing, right? Because people don't do it. Like my cousins and whoever's outside, they now, if they've been there for like 10, 15 years, they all say that no, you don't need to massage a baby, right? It's a very Indian thing, and that's not. What are your thoughts on that in general?
See, I mean, there is no right or wrong to this. And traditionally, I believe because we are in India, and rightly so, Indians abroad also probably don't follow the ritual. It's
Right, they
Indians,
don't. Yeah,
because most of them don't have help. The privileges of living in India is that, you have a lot of help, and you have an ecosystem where you can hire a
was,
japa or
yes,
so on. And, in abroad, it's not easy in abroad to hire a help, and,
of course.
it's very expensive. So the idea is, even when we develop this oil, even, keeping working moms also in mind, that, sometimes they don't have time in India.
Hmm.
And everybody believes that if you massage or malish the baby, then the growth is great. And
Right,
and I don't want to comment on who believes in what and what. There is no proven study or there is no science which proves all of this. And
right,
rightly so, I'm not a right professional to talk about it. All I can
right.
say is that, because the ritual has been so deep rooted, we kept that in mind, heretics,
Hmm.
and we kept science in mind. And we
Hmm.
realized that we should just make this more simpler and give back in a way where the product that you're using should at least, not cause harm to the
Right.
child.
Right.
So you use a few drops, massage the baby how much is required, and
Mm.
then without stripping away the moisture of the child's skin, because the barrier is anyways, the baby barrier, the baby skin is developing in the first 1,000 days. So you
Right.
anyways, it's a sensitive skin. So
Right.
might as well use at least products and stuff which is great for the child skin. Whether you do massage or don't massage, whether you
Mm.
follow tradition or don't follow tradition because of your
Right.
mother, mother-in-law, grandmother, grandfather, whoever. The idea
Right.
is that we kept all of this in mind and we realized that keeping the whole heritage of the Indian ritual, we
Mm-hmm.
thought, why not, build something which took us a lot of
Mm.
time. It took us almost 2 years to develop this product and get it right,
Wow.
to get it,
2 years of research
because,
basically on the
yeah,
formulation.
because a cleansing bath oil is available for adults. And they're very expensive brands. They're French brands and so on. So for us, it's a new category altogether. And for building in that category, it's difficult because no mother or parents today are not educated about that particular product, right? Everyone
Right.
knows a massage oil. Nobody knows cleansing bath oil or a
Mm.
two-in-one
Yes.
massage oil, which is a
There's
massage
also
oil and
like
a
an
body wash.
education. It's not just launching the product, it's also a lot of
Yeah,
consumer
so now we are
education.
slowly, so building that awareness, which will take us time,
Right.
I believe.
Correct.
Everybody, all our consumers who have used the product, we have kids rather, who have told their parents that, Mama, this is a magic oil, because it's been working very differently. And you can rightly so, if you put water on it, you can see a white, milky cleanser forming. So you don't need to use a body wash separately or a separate soap or so on. And it just makes life
Right.
easier for all parents. And,
Correct.
so I think coming to your main question, massaging, I don't know what is right and wrong because I don't want to, because we massage both our kids and, we did that.
Right.
And in fact, for
We
me,
did as
even
well.
that point,
Yeah.
at some point, it became a bonding situation for me also because I used to love massaging my little kids sometimes on a weekend when I used to take off. And I think it was a great fun time with my kid. So I think overall, I think massaging is great. I mean, at least from the bonding perspective. And with the massage oil, the one that we have, it's even easier for
Mm.
fathers who are worried about, oh my God, what will I do after? Because, you just take them to bath and just put them there and just put
And
water, it
just
comes out as soap.
right.
So it
Right.
just becomes like an easier process because the parents are so worried. The baby's slippery and
And
then
it's
how to
scary,
put soap.
honestly. Like,
It's the
I've
most
also
scariest
massaged my
process.
daughter. Like, she's
Yeah.
slippery, and you have to take her to the
Yeah.
bath
Yeah.
area, and then yeah,
So we
it's a
recommend that, we have always been very clear that you apply the oil, leave it for 10
right.
minutes, you take the baby and you put the baby or child in the wherever you keep the baby in the tub or a small thing.
Right.
Just put water. No need to take head to toe. People want more products, then they want soap. Then they put the soap,
Right.
then they keep rubbing it.
Right.
Half your stress is all about what do we do now. So I think
Correct.
the innovation helped us and now it's time to create more awareness and build the category
Awareness,
for
and
it.
then yes, yes, yes. Very interesting. What do you like? I saw your I saw all your range. And this is, I think, a very debatable topic. But what are your thoughts on sunscreen? A lot of people, even we get advice, right, from people all around that you're taking her out in the sun, put a sunscreen. But honestly, I was not able to really find like a good like a sunscreen for like a 14-15 month old. I'm not even sure whether you're supposed to use it or not.
So I'll
What are
tell
your
you from
thoughts
the
on that?
doctor's lens and as a co-founder of a brand which has been trying to develop a sunscreens in the last 3 to 4 years.
Wow.
And we are only using on our kids, we use La Roche-Posay or Isdin,
Right.
which is, international brands.
Correct.
And these are recommended by my wife who's a dermat. So, I personally
Right.
wouldn't be able to recommend a brand otherwise. We have not been able to get a right formulation yet because
Hmm.
there are a lot of complications when it comes to building the right sunscreen. I believe from the doctor's lens, I would say below 6 months, avoid unless absolutely necessary. And if you
Hmm.
have extreme exposure to sun for your child,
Right.
then, use La Roche-Posay or Isdin for your child. Having
Hmm.
said that, a parent who would say that, these products are for $2,000 or $3,000
Right. And they're
and it's
also
too
not like, it's
expensive.
not that you can get them on Amazon, right? You'll have to get someone from,
You
like, if someone's coming
get it at
from,
the premium stores, but all the other sunscreens, as per if you see the label washing and greenwashing and so on, a lot of brands today are promoting their sunscreens, but I believe there is some issue in these sunscreen in somewhere or the other. Today, there are filters of, there are active ingredients which have UVB and UVA filters which are being
right,
recommended for kids. And there are various other things that people are recommending by saying that it's US FDA approved and so on.
right.
And if you actually go to see, most of them are not actually US FDA approved yet. So
Okay.
it's a gray area and there is no awareness about this. There is no, I think the parents probably have to do a little more research before buying
Hmm.
certain
So would love
products.
to understand. So for our audience, can you explain what's like a US FDA approval, and like how can a
So
brand?
basically, there have been some marketing gimmicks which brands have been playing that these brands, these products are now, these are US FDA products and US
Right.
regulated products and US has approved this.
Correct.
That becomes a benchmark. West becomes a benchmark for most of the things for us. Not necessary, because a lot of the things that happens in the West is not necessary that it has to be applied in India as well. Their conditions, their water, their stuff is different.
Right.
Indian water conditions, Indian climatic conditions is different. Not
Correct.
necessarily what products is working in the West will work in India. And
Hmm.
that's proven. A lot of parents will agree to this, that they probably have bought a product which is from US or anywhere across the world. It could be a brand in UK or it could be a brand in Spain. And all these brands come tried in, they're readily available in India. And they don't shoot the Indian skin or they don't shoot the Indian babies. So I believe parents need to understand what works. And if it works, don't switch. If it works, just be consistent. So I
Correct.
believe there is no right or wrong in baby care, firstly. If it suits your child's skin
Hmm.
and if you can do it consistently, great.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's the parents who get bored and the need to switch.
Hmm.
Unless you see there is an issue, with some rash or something, then you pause and go to your, pediatrician or dermat and ask them
Right.
what needs to be done instead of randomly asking and seeing an ad that this might work.
Hmm.
So I believe, the right professional can be able to help you in this, and the right people can be able to help you in this.
Hmm.
We have put in a lot of effort in terms of sourcing the ingredients from globally different companies who give raw
Right.
material ingredients. So we've managed to, source ingredients from different vendors
Hmm.
who import from Spain or Japan and so on. And of course, I have a great network of vendors in India who you can use for their R&D facilities to
Right.
develop a good product if you know what you want. And I think
Hmm.
we have a dermat on board. The founder is a dermat. So I think her medical
Right.
expertise is something that the brand relies on and the brand, which can't be taken away. So I think her
Yeah.
expertise matters a lot because she sees patients every day. She sees it's first-hand experience. So she knows, what kind of issues, happens in the babies today, in children today.
Right. Hmm.
And keeping all of that in mind, we kept this and developed these products.
So
Also for us, just
recently.
kids, we used to import products as well. So we
Hmm.
realized that we were not being able to buy anything in India. So the whole idea was that, let's try and develop something that Indian parents can rely on, trust, when they are born, and they don't have to worry about this particular thing. I'm not saying,
Right.
no brand can ever say that by using our product, you will never get a rash. No brand can ever say that
Of
because
course.
every child's skin is different. But technically, if you know what you've done and you know what ingredients you've used and how you've used, in what percentage you've used, I think the efficacy matters a lot.
Right.
Science really is something that, that's the only way because, today people talk about herbal products and other
Hmm.
products. But in the case of sensitive skin and so on, I think these products sometimes don't work. A doctor would only be able to prescribe to you a product with some kind of efficacy, which is science backed.
Right.
So I think so. This is not about. So I don't even believe that this is about clean ingredients, non-clean ingredients, and so on. This is all about, getting it right and being consistent.
So recently, like this happened with us, like when our daughter was born. Of course, I think a couple of years back there was this Johnson & Johnson controversy, right, with the talcum powder that that it
Yeah.
was harmful and it gives cancer and all. Surprisingly, a lot of people
But
started
still, there are
recommending.
so many brands still pushing for talc, and you'll be
Exactly.
surprised on these so many other parent groups when
Hmm.
there's an issue and parents reach out on mother groups. So,
Right.
for questions instead of reaching to a dermat. I mean, fine, it's community support. For every
Right.
parent, you need a support circle. And I think it's great that people resort to community spaces for support. But I
Right.
think a lot of people give wrong advice on these support circles also. When a lot of times it's very upsetting to see that people randomly just say, use this powder and it will go away,
Hmm.
or use this
Right.
and it will go away. And I think
Correct.
this is something that worries people and parents, and it confuses them further. That it can't. If it worked for you, it can't work for everybody else.
But
Secondly,
talcum in general, does it like, is talcum like a recommended thing for
if you ask
children or?
me, if you what product do you want to parents to remove today or don't need, I think talc is something that you don't need at all. It doesn't solve the core issue and can sometimes worsen dryness and irritation.
Right.
So I think talc is a controversial subject, and I think from our founders' perspective, we don't want to ever build in that. So
Right.
yeah,
Super, super. Yeah, that's a lot of knowledge for us about products in general. I would love to know a
yeah.
bit
I
about.
mean, I'm technically probably at least if from the co-founder perspective, because I look into the operations and the
Right.
other stuff. I have the product knowledge and I have enough, I think, expertise on understanding what the skin is because of the
Hmm.
lecture and of the understanding we get from our founder. If you ever
Right.
want too much technical expertise, then she's the right person.
Absolutely. We would love to have her in one of the future sessions as well.
Definitely, definitely.
So operationally, you guys are building without any funding, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah,
You're
we are bootstrapped.
bootstrapped. How does that, like, do you think that's an advantage for you, or do you think it's a disadvantage? Do you want to raise funding eventually? Like, what's your plan?
I mean, to be very honest, we've had our uh, chances of speaking with
Hmm.
funds and fund manager, and we had a brand which had reached out to explore potential synergies and collaborations and so on in
Right.
terms of growth. I don't think that being bootstrapped is a disadvantage, or I don't look at it from that perspective. I don't think that if you get funded, you are at advantage, or
Hmm.
vice versa. I do believe that when you have, firstly, when a fund comes in or when a right partners come in, growth partners, it's great for growth, and you're great for building new avenues. For us, it was more about first getting the product right and figuring out the product market fit. And since I believe that it's a startup and it's the beginning, we will be figuring out the product market fit and probably have figured out. And now I think with the right people coming in, or we're open to meeting people in terms of growing the brand and scaling the brand. And I think with
Right.
the right partners coming into the brand, I think it only adds value and it will only teach us and grow the brand. Then but it's also important getting the right part. So I think
Right.
the couple
Of
of times
course.
when we spoke or met people and so on, maybe we didn't resonate or vice versa.
Mm.
So I think
Right.
also having come from a background of business, I do believe that there is not an urgent requirement. And like I said, it's all made to look very glorified and glamorous today. So I don't think that we have to go from 0 to 100 in the first day itself. I believe in sustained growth. And I think being bootstrapped gave us that discipline of and not doing the mistakes. Maybe growth have been very slow in terms of numbers, but I do believe that over a period of time, at least we know with the fiscal discipline and with the strategy we have approached, in the long run, it will help the brand in the right direction
Hmm. Right.
with the expertise. Because I mean, I believe I do bring 15 years of expertise in operations and
Correct.
building a business. And we built a packaging business in the last, I've been a part of a growing business in the last 15 years, day in, day out. And we've seen
Right.
good days, bad days, all days, right? So, and we've seen what behind the scenes happen. Even though, in the front, you tend to see a growth, a company which has grown to be a good packaging company in the country. But at the
Right.
same time, we know what we have to do in the backstage. So similarly, I think when you see the D2C business, I think it's a very, very fun business to be in, because I believe I always wanted to do something, build a brand, grow a brand, and be a part of a brand that, serves purpose and gives back to the society in some of the other way. And I think what better than being in a baby care industry where you are a parent gives birth to a child, and then you're holding their hands from right from day one, right?
Right.
You want to be a brand which is supporting the child's life and a parent's life. So I think there is nothing more rewarding than that. And I think when in the last few months, when parents have reached out to us and told us, as founder to like, customers who have messaged founders or the brand saying
Right.
that you have changed our child's life, or you've entered our child's heart by what you've done. So I think that's victory for us. I think numbers come later. And I think my parents, I think my father has both me, my father-in-law, if I would say Sonali's father, or my father, and they've all given us one advice always, that, do not run behind money, because that's going to
Hmm.
come eventually. But
Right.
when you're, and this is the basic advice, this is not some philosophical jargon. It's
Right.
actually the truth. And if you simply sometimes just do things with the right effort, with all of this, I think success will follow. Now, everyone's definition to
Hmm.
success is different.
Right.
If you're a 100 crore brand, it's great. If you're a 1,000 crore brand, it's great. Even if you're a 10 crore brand, it's great. Even if you're 1 crore
Hmm.
brand, it's great. Numbers are subjective. It's a perception. Yes, we would love to be a 1,000 crore brand someday,
Right.
and we will work towards it. But I don't know if I'll become that in 1 year, 2 years, 10 years. But
Correct.
I want to bridge the gap in baby care, and I want first to um, Indian parents to believe that this brand is born in India and it's
Hmm.
built for the world. So, you don't have to worry before buying it. We want to give
Right.
you worry. We genuinely want parents to be less worried, less paranoid. We want to give you worry free products so that, we can handhold you from day one and you don't have to worry. Simply, these are world class products, and the founder of the company, being a practicing dermat, has taken care of it.
Right. Right. Amazing. Wow, Rohan. Thank you. I have one last question for today. So, if you've been in business for 15 years, you've been a bootstrap founder of a D2C brand for 3 years. I'm sure you have
And
a
even
lot
our
of knowledge.
packaging business is bootstrap.
Wow, wow,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I
And
mean, of course, it's my father's baby.
right,
I was his
correct.
second baby who joined the business. But yeah, I mean, I think what he has taught me, and
Hmm,
what hard work and what consistency can do,
right,
from I think bootstrap companies can also make a lot of difference. And there are many companies in the world, in fact in India, and a lot of
right,
stories that you must have seen. So I think
correct.
that confidence that comes in founders
Hmm.
like us, or second generation entrepreneurs, today is very tough to see second generation entrepreneurs joining their parents and the family business. You'll see that it's a real challenge, and parents are really struggling to get their kids in the business because of the culture that this other businesses have created.
Hmm,
Either the big businesses, you've rightly so seen that people have started family offices and they invest from that and then get involved in businesses. So
right,
I think being bootstrapped teaches you a lot. The discipline, the effort that you put in a business has only come in me because we were bootstrapped. Of course, banks have supported us, and yeah, I mean, I think that I wanted to make this point because I believe that the next generation of entrepreneurs are going to be very different. Smart, definitely,
hmm,
and smart working. Hard work is something I really feel that is going to be a little questionable sometimes. To be very honest, I have hired across ages. So, in our packaging
hmm,
business, we've hired people who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s.
right,
In our D2C business, we hire in 20s and 30s. right? I have seen a big mix of both.
Right.
I get to see a big mix of people. My advice to entrepreneurs today would be that don't lose hope because you see other brands performing well. I think patience will play a big role. Sometimes just being there as a brand is very under, what's the word for that? I think people don't value it. That even if you're just there, it is very, you're undervalued. Don't undervalue yourself.
Mm.
Your time will also come. But by getting anxious and nervous, which all of us probably do, when you see that your competitor has suddenly thrown a new ad in the market or taken a new celebrity to perform, and then you are like, oh my God, they have the budgets, they got funded. And I think that is something, even, as a founder, even today, we also feel that,
Right.
sometimes we feel we are not doing enough and so on. But I think it's a journey. Our time will also come. Our
Uh,
products are good. Patience is something that I really value the most.
right.
Consistency is something that I value the most. Effort. You cannot ever believe or think anything is magic and it happens overnight. The right amount of
Right.
effort, the consistency will bring you success. It depends exactly on what you're chasing. I don't have any
Right.
jargon to say to entrepreneurs, but I just know, I have a professor called Professor Boman Moradian. He's the guru of operations in the country.
Mm-hmm.
He's considered the guru. He's trained about more than 50,000 students. He has taught me, and he's been a part of my life since the last 7 years. And he has been an active
Mm-hmm.
guiding light to me in my businesses. All he has told me is that you practice something called as the Goya. It's called get on your ass. So that is what you need to do. Get out in the market, go meet people, go do things yourself. And that's when you'll understand what the market wants from you. If you're just sitting somewhere and expecting magic to happen, it won't happen.
That
You're
won't
running any
happen.
business, doesn't matter. If you're running a manufacturing business, whether you're running a trading business, whether you're running a D2C business, B2C business, any business that you're running, effort, consistency is something that will go a long way. Just by randomly coming, if I take 10 crores from an investor today and put it in the market by thinking that, I'll run meta ad and orders will come and, things will happen, it's not going to work.
You won't.
I think, yeah. And you have to follow certain things, right? Today, you have the power of using AI. You can read books of founders who have written.
Right.
I'm reading something about by Arindam Paul, Zero to Scale, the guy who built Atomberg. And
Mm-hmm.
the book gives you so much knowledge that, for early D2C founders, you have so many things. I did a short course by a friend, Arjun Vaidya,
Mm-hmm.
who invests heavily in, he who sold Dr. Vaidya's and today is part of building many startups. And
Mm-hmm.
he does his, I had done his course on D2C 2 years back from his school that he had.
Mm-hmm.
He ran something and you get to learn so many things. The idea is that, even as an entrepreneur, you don't know everything. Even if my packaging experience, I didn't know a D2C business.
Right.
It's learning on the go, but to upgrade myself and to upgrade my skill, I did a lot of things that could help me. And today also, there are a lot of things that I don't know. For small things like when I was converting my company from an LLP to private limited in D2C, I had to
Mm.
delist my products from the brands, from
Okay. Right.
marketplaces, and then relist it. So there are a lot of
Relist
playbooks that we
everything
don't know.
again. Right.
So it's a big task, right? So today you need to learn, keep constantly learning. I believe we are all perpetual students of life. So you have to keep learning every day on the go,
Right.
every day. And that's the
Correct.
only way forward. You can't just take that, AI has come to learn it. You have to learn how to use AI. You have to empower your people to use AI. You have to teach them how to use AI in the right way so that you can upgrade, uplift, upskill your own self. So
Mm.
I think there is no one advice, but on a macro level or on I would just say, just never give up, try,
Mm.
and hope and patience is something that will take you a long way.
Right.
And we've followed that, and we have been able to sustain and grow. And it's not like we've not had failures; we've had many failures. That's for another day. But I think we've learned and grown out of all our failures.
Amazing. Amazing. That's what matters. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rohan, for your time. It has been amazing having
Thank
you
you,
here.
Rachit.
It
It
was
was lovely
wonderful.
talking to you, and
Same
thank you
here.
for having me on your. It's the first time I ever did a online podcast.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Rachit.
That was for our listeners. That was Rohan Rai. He's the co-founder of Eda Baby and Child. And this was ChaiNet. I'm Rachit Magan. Until next time.
Thank you.
Great.